Welcome to the Torque Train for Life podcast. We want to know what you're doing on a daily basis to improve your life. We own a gym where people spend 180 to 300 minutes a week with us. There's 10,080 minutes total. So what's happening those other minutes? We work on fitness and nutrition, but what about our sleep and our mindset, stress, relationships, communication? Those are all important pillars to life. So let's dig in. Grab your cup of coffee and let's go. Good afternoon. Hi, my name's Amanda. If you don't already know who I am, I have owned CrossFit Torque in Foxborough, Mass for almost 11 years now. So I want to thank you for joining in on this podcast. The reason I wanted to do something like this was to give back in another way. Okay, so I opened up a gym for mostly to help people. Okay, a couple other reasons. There's a lot of perks to having my own small business, but mostly to help people. So 11 years in, I still find that there's other ways that I can still reach more people. So the main goal of this podcast is to talk about certain topics, not take too much time to discuss them, okay, not go down too many rabbit holes, but just enough time to talk about it where you can enjoy a cup of coffee. So things related to working out, sleeping, eating, mindset and thinking, and even communicating with each other. If we can improve one or all of those parts of our lives on a daily and weekly basis, then I truly believe that we are that much closer to being completely, fully happy and healthy. So like I said, I started a CrossFit gym so I could help more people. But I wanted to take a few minutes to tell you how we even got to that point and the history of myself and the history of the gym. So growing up, like most CrossFit gym owners, I'd say, played sports a lot since you could start running to all the way up to college. I was recruited to play on a softball team in undergrad. And so my entire life was revolved around heading off to practices or heading off to games. But when I was doing those things, I didn't see it as a way to stay fit and stay healthy and to keep myself healthy. What I saw it as was a way to be around people, socialize, and do something that for the most part I was good at. And it was fun. It was fun. I looked forward to going to these things. So eventually, as I grew up, softball in undergrad didn't work out on how I planned it. So went through college, did not stay fit, did not find that fun thing, right? I would try to go to the gym, but I dreaded it. I didn't see any enjoyment in doing that, going on the treadmill and using any of the machines at the gym. So I just didn't go. I just didn't find it to be something I looked forward to. So when I graduated, I got a job in an office, continued to not be as healthy as I should. And at the time, my father, who had a personal trainer, was told about this thing called CrossFit. And this is back in 2009. And he was told by this trainer to look it up online. Now, if anyone that's listening has been around long enough, you know that CrossFit's website originally back in the day was very, very basic. And it had a lot of pictures of men and women who have served our country, or pictures of people's hands that were a little bloody and ripped up. And it was these really crazy workouts that at the time seemed a little bit out of reach, even for my dad, who had been working with a personal trainer. But what he did was there was a section that said, find your local CrossFit. And again, in 2009, there was not a lot around. So he and my mom went, and there happened to be a CrossFit in the town that they lived in. So they headed off there and they tried it out, and they loved it. For lack of a better word, they loved going. My mom, who again didn't really love going to a personal trainer, found that she was saying, okay, let's go today. So lo and behold, they got my brother and my sister involved to head to this CrossFit in Walpole, Mass. And finally, they were able to convince me to go. Now, let me remind you, I've just gone through college and I've sat at a desk. So I was a very unhealthy human being. Didn't quite care too much about nutrition. Thought I was eating healthy. like most do. And I actually was not. So I put on this freshman 15, sophomore 20, whatever you want to call it. But I said, yeah, you know what, let me try this thing out. So I remember going to my first workout, and it was a combination of pull-ups and sit-ups, box jumps and wall balls, I think. And I did the most modified version of all of those things. I ended up just squatting with the ball, barely throwing it. Sit-ups, my feet had to be propped. My box jumps couldn't jump. I had to step. And this particular CrossFit, they had a pull-up rig, pull-up bar, but I ended up using one of those lat pull-down machines. So lo and behold, I kind of drudged my way through this, completely and utterly exhausted. My dad was the one to bring me at the time. We get in the car to go to leave, and he goes, "What'd you think?" And I just burst into tears. I just started crying. I couldn't even control myself. Now I think back, and it must have been just overwhelmed with how far gone I had been, how out of shape I was. I couldn't even step onto a box 10 times in a row. I'm sure there was a lot of physical emotions behind that, beyond the mental. So I always joke, my dad said, "Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to drive you home and you can call your mother." So he dropped me back off my house, and I thought about what my body and my mind just went through. And a really small part of me, a few hours later, after I was started to get a little sore, missed what I just went through. I said, wow, that was actually pretty incredible. So it was weeks into going back to that CrossFit gym and doing these workouts that I realized, okay, think about how quickly this helped me. Think about how every time I went, it still was a struggle. It still took a lot inside to go, but there was something about it that I really looked forward to doing. It wasn't spend 30 minutes here, go there for 20 minutes and do that. It was cycling through movements. There was a goal that was in mind. There was a challenge that it was extended. Can you get this done under 10 minutes? Can you get X number of rounds in? And that idea of bringing fun back into working out was starting to creep its way in. So it was just months after being there, March of 2010, that I said, oh, I think I could actually do this and help people. I would love to have my own business and do this. And to let everyone know, my whole family comes from a very entrepreneurial spirit. My dad's had his own small business for 30 plus years. His dad, my grandfather, my uncles. So we're all very business driven. And so I knew some part of me would have my own business someday. I just wasn't sure what it was going to be. So when this came on my lap, I said, yeah, this is what we could do. So it was September of 2010. I looked up when the next CrossFit Level 1 was going to be. I attended that. I applied to be a CrossFit gym. We hired the original personal trainer that my dad had introduced CrossFit to. And in December 2010, CrossFit Torque was born. Now, in the same breath, I was also in grad school for my MBA for business. So I continued with that program, opened up the gym. We rented 600 square feet right in Foxborough, Massachusetts on Route 1. And we lived there. CrossFit Torque was born there. And we were there for 2.5 years while I worked at Reebok headquarters. And so the gym CrossFit was a way to reach people. I think, when we first opened, it took a little bit to get some traction for what we were doing. We didn't have a ton of visibility from the street. So it was a lot of word of mouth through Facebook and through our friends. And like I said, I started working at Reebok headquarters at the time, working for essentially for the CrossFit team that was built within headquarters. So back in 2010, Reebok partnered with CrossFit headquarters and kind of a purely marketing perspective, but also to build the apparel and the footwear and to help with the building up the games. So Reebok hired, I think there was like 7 to 10 of us that worked directly with growing this partnership. And my job specifically was working with the CrossFit affiliates to help build that relationship with them, to show them what we were there for, but also to introduce screen printing opportunities with them and event sponsorship. So I actually was able to get this position there in the summer of 2011. So under a year being an affiliate owner. But what they really saw in me was the idea that because I own my own CrossFit affiliate, I could be this really great bridge to connect them to everybody else. So I did that for almost 2.5 years, traveled a ton, went to different countries and different states to check out affiliates, meet owners, help with events, helped with regionals at CrossFit. It was just it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. And meanwhile, was growing the gym and growing the business. And we got to the point where we either needed to find a new location or do something about how we were growing. And where we are in Foxborough on Route 1, the real estate around there, it's right near the stadium, Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots play. Things are a little crazy around there. So super fortunate that my father's business is right next door. And so we were able to clear some land and we built a 4,000 square foot facility right there, feet away from where we were renting. And in 2013, we opened that up. A nice grand opening. And immediately we were able to almost double our membership and help more people. We were able to reach more people. The space was, 6-10 times bigger than what we had before. It was just incredible. So we expanded in 2013. We continued to hire coaches, offer more, reach as many people as we could. And then in 2020, meanwhile, so when that happened, my apologies, I was able to actually leave Reebok behind and move on and grow and run the business from a full-time perspective versus from a half-time perspective. So early 2020, I officially decided to start working with a business mentor group called Two Brain Business. I've been following a lot of their stuff for almost 8 or 9 years, had been to a few seminars that they had put on. And so I aligned myself with them because they truly believe in taking the CrossFit gyms and other gyms to the next level. And we were ready for that. We were ready to go beyond having some part-timers and really grow. So, week after joining in, we got hit, everyone across the world got hit with this pandemic and things changed. We had to pivot real quick. We had to change what we offered. We were shut down for a few months. We offered Zoom. We lent out equipment. We brought equipment to everybody's houses. We kept everyone as fit as possible during those times, not only physically, but mentally. And then when we were able to open back up outside for a few months, I found it was a perfect opportunity to look for a nutrition coach full-time instead of myself. We found a registered dietitian named Jamie. She's fantastic, hired her. She runs our nutrition programs now. We approached one of our members, Chris, who's one of the happiest people we know. We asked her to come on board and help us with some client success stories and management. That position's now turned into a general manager. So she is our general manager. And we've been able to have now 3 full-time coaches work for us, as well as a couple part-time coaches. So we've really grown from 2010 when there's one coach that did most of the classes. We've always had this kind of onboarding process to get people involved in the gym, introduce them to what we're doing, teach them slowly how they can get the most out of their membership. And now we're able to reach so many more thousands of people with what we have to offer. When someone comes to us to talk about potentially joining, we spend almost an hour with them learning about their goals and what they really want to achieve. And we align them with our solutions where it's a lot of nutrition. It's not just fitness. It's pairing these two together over a 6-week to 12-week program to really get everyone extremely comfortable with making these changes in their lives and building some brand new habits. So it all comes back to helping people. If I could, I would help every single person I see on the street, every person I see in the store. What we're really hoping to be able to do is reach as many people in the area as possible. We want to help everyone. We want them to feel better. We want this to be the best hour of their day when they come into our gym. We want to see them do things that they never been able to do before. Take something that, climbing a rope and get them to the point where they can actually do that. And then they can tell their friends about it. We want people to be able to get off medications that they don't need to be on. We want people to be happy when they go to their doctor's appointments and not avoid going to see their PCPs. We want grandparents to be able to play with their kids. We want parents to be able to play with their kids. we want a lot of things for a lot of people, and we can help everyone get there. So help first is our mantra, if you will. And we look forward to, in this podcast at least, being able to provide, like I said, little pieces of information, our learnings, our experiences. We're going to have our nutrition coach on, we're going to have our head coach on, we're going to have our other coaches, we're going to interview current clients, talk to other local business owners. Sometimes we'll just get on and talk and hope we can entertain you for 10 to 15 minutes of your day. We look forward to answering any questions that you have. Hopefully you don't get sick of my voice too much, but I'm really blessed to be able to be where we are, coming up on 11 years in helping as many people as we possibly can help. And we look forward to helping you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening in. I bet you're wondering how you can meet us in person. See the notes section below for a link to schedule a no sweat intro or a no snack intro with us here at CrossFit Torque in Foxborough, Mass. Also, please subscribe below if you haven't already, and we look forward to having you listen in next time.